Hello, I just wanted to share quickly on something that really that hit me because it's really a Pan-African thing from what President William Ruto did recently. His move, his visit to Eritrea and meeting with President Isayas Afeworki. I have made a couple of videos about William Ruto and in general in Kenya, how it is really, it fits that saying of I am my brother's keeper. I will just, I will give you an example of two events. One is the recent his visit to Eritrea, and then the other one is his visit to um, Ethiopia, his first visit actually to Ethiopia right after he was elected in the beginning, just before the peace talk or the deal was signed. So he came to Ethiopia. I mean, context is really everything. So he came to Ethiopia just ahead, the first peace talk was going to happen, which was, I think, in the end of October. So he came 1 day or 2 day ahead of that. So that peace talk, we have seen that how much the US and the West wanted to take part and try to take it from the African Union, while the whole Africa is saying that African solution to African problems. So they wanted to take part, but President William Ruto's visit to Ethiopia has sent a message, because Kenya is one of the countries that were facilitating or leading this peace talk between Ethiopia and the federal government and TPLF that was going to happen, or that happened in South Africa. So it showed that Kenya's commitment to this peace talk, and then also to the African solution to African problems. So the timing was really important. So that's why I said a context. So his visit came on the backdrop of that, when the West, the US-led West, was trying to take away this from the African Union and try to do it in the way that they wanted, because a peace signing, they know that when the peace deal has been signed, they know that is at their loss. So now he visited Eritrea and met President Isayas Afeworki just before the U.S. Africa summit that's going to start tomorrow. So I think he did his visit just a couple of days ago. He has been in Asmara. He has been walking on the streets of Asmara, making jokes, discomfortable. But why I say context is important is really remember when the US Africa Summit, when they sent out invitation, out of the 55 member states, only 49 member states have been invited, and those six countries that are not invited, one of them is Eritrea. So four of them, they are in West Africa, and they're not invited because AU banned them for a coup d'etat that happened. Actually, three of them in West Africa. One is Sudan, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Sudan, because their AU membership is suspended. But the two countries which are still a regular member of the African Union and that are not invited are Eritrea and the Western Sahara, or the Sahel. So this sends a message. I mean, by inviting all those 49 countries, but it's called US Africa Summit, and you exclude these six African countries. I mean, these countries, one way or the other, they have relation with US. I mean, even if, for example, they say, okay, the US don't have a diplomatic exchange with Eritrea and the other ones, the Western Sahara, but they are affected by the decisions that US is making to them, meaning sanctions and other things. So there are things that concerns them. So their demand or their concern needs to be tabled, just like any other member states that have been invited. And I believe, this is my opinion, should have been done by the African Union. To, if they are not invited, at least it should have taken a stance why they are not invited, because they are still regular member of the African Union. And then, if so, still, if the US resists, then to bring that agenda, what is their concern, and to present it to the US should have been the African Union responsibility. So it is in that void space now that William Ruto came and played a role, because the region itself, also as a region, it has its own interest. I mean, Ethiopia and Eritrea has made a peace 4.5 years ago, or maybe almost 5 years ago, uh, and but still Eritrea continued to be alienated and bullied by the US, and still in sanction. So there are some concerns that needs to be brought to the US, and the region should stand and should be a keeper of the sister country, the neighboring country. This is, it send out that message. I mean, the image it sends out it's really politically, it's an immense one. But also I want to shed light on those little things that we don't think about. I mean, we all are, thinking about politically, but also what it does is, it brings that cultural rapprochement, even because Eritrea for long has been alienated from the continent. So I mean, I don't know how many Africans have visited Eritrea, or how many other foreigners, but we are talking about Africa, so we don't care about the others. So how many neighboring countries have thought to go to Asmara or to go to Eritrea? So brings Eritrea into the picture when Ruto go and visits Eritrea. Then it will send that, it brings that cultural rapprochement. I know that there are a lot of Eritreans also in Kenya, but now when this happens officially, it will grow on a next level. And also there could be some kind of trade deals. It will initiate tourism. There are other things that we as a people, that we need to come and be able to do things together. So I just wanted to say, this, I wanted to give a credit to President William Ruto for his courageous Pan-African move that he made to visit Eritrea. It's in the same context for me, the way he visited Ethiopia. The context is everything. Just before the peace deal, while Mike Hammer was running around to make the peace deal to fail. He was in South Africa, and then one day after he was in Kenya. In fact, the original planned date of the peace deal of Ethiopia peace talk has been postponed after he paid a visit in Kenya to Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta came out with that statement postponing the peace talk just 24 hours before the talk in South Africa. But still, thank God it happened after a week or 10 days. Then so that was really important what he did, and then many also rather significant. And then now he's meeting with Eritrean presidents, or with Eritrea just before the U.S. Africa summit. That makes him his brother keeper. And there's something really, just let me be informal, and that I like what he say. He calls them brother. How are you, brother? And that's really something. And so well done, President William Ruto. I hope others will follow. I just wanted to reflect on that. Bye bye until next time.